Mira, you have been through so much. So you made it back to Russia. And I would think, like, I mean, that you would just want to, like, have a banya, and like have your job and like put it all behind. But you actually started a foundation
I
to help
did.
others. So that's really something. So could you kind of talk a little bit about, first of all, what it was like to come back to Russia and adjust, but then to what prompted you to start your foundation? And we'll wait for Reef to try to find that book. And if he can't find it, we'll try to get a link another time. Get it up.
Yeah. And so what happened was not only the Russian government was helping to come to get me back home, but there were also human rights organizations that were helping me. And they when I came back, there was one person, right, who was helping me. There were many, but one specific particular person was also helping me. His name is Maxim Shugaley. He used to be a hostage in Libya, in Tripoli, a prison called Mitiga, the terrorist prison. And they held him there for a year and a half without any charges or anything, and as a hostage, him and his interpreter. It's a very famous story. And when he got released and came back to Russia, he headed the foundation too. And my mother approached him asking him for help. And he was one of the people who was helping me. And when I came back, he picked me up at the airport. And he explained to me, if I will not jump on work right now, I might go into so much depression that it will be very difficult later on to be able, you just will drown into your thoughts and and then analyzing what happened to you. And I did what he suggested. He helped me a lot to get through this situation. And then I did not founded this foundation. This foundation was founded in March before my release. I was released in May. But when I came back, I was offered to head this foundation, and I accepted the offer. We did the series. Before that, we did a series of interviews. I can send it to you. It has like 10 parts where documentaries where I tell about what happened to me in the American prison and in the whole case. So I could give you the links, and if it's interesting for the audience, they could watch it as well.
Yeah, he's got the links up right now. So Reef does for the audience. As you can, I don't
Okay.
see it on your thing, but he's got him up.
Okay. And so the foundation works worldwide to address the human rights and violations, supports civil activists, supports prisoners, provides legal assistance, provides informational assistance, judicial. We fight against police brutality, political persecution, and all types of repressions all over the world. And that's how I started working against the kill list also, because the girl that we had interview with 2 weeks ago, Faina Serenkova, she found me on social networks, and she wrote me as my colleague, as my young colleague, as a writer, because she also a writer. She writes books, she writes plays. And we were talking about writing, and then she told me that she is on kill list, and I was like, wait a second, like I heard about this kill list. A lot of people that I know are on it, but what does minor do on it?
Yeah.
And I asked my colleagues,
Kyle doing on a kill list, yeah.
And what could she do to get on it? And I asked my colleagues to check if there are any other children
Mhm.
So in total, we found 327 children that had opened profiles, because there are also profiles on kill list that are under password. So you cannot really you see who is there and what information it hides. And like, I'm really curious about who has those passwords, who can look up that information.
I mean,
And
that's
mhm.
what I was going to say, Mira, is that's not just like with the, I mean, what our audience needs to know is what Mira's talking about. This website doxes people. So it puts out their home address, all their information. We had Faina on last week talking about this, or 2 weeks ago. But the other really remarkable thing about this is, I mean, it could lead to human trafficking. It could lead to, they're vulnerable, you know, I mean, it's horrible. I mean, so
Yes,
go on with what you're saying.
it does look like a pedophile menu for real, because like you would open those pages and it has their picture, as you said, home address. Faina had situation when some random person showed up at her house and said that he found the address on on kill list. It's called Mira Terada in Russian, and so, and it does prove how dangerous it is. And then you see all those people that were murdered, and
Mhm.
it marked liquidated. And you know, that's the interesting part. We did analyze that part of who is on what children are on the list. Like it's not only Russians, like if you would say, right? It's also Ukrainian children. It's also LDPR children, right, from Donbass. It's also Belarusian, Armenian, from Azerbaijan, from different countries, different ages. The youngest child is 9 years old. She's a girl. She
I
she
know.
ended up, yeah, I thought Faina was the youngest at first when I met her, but like, what was my shock when we found out that the youngest one is 9 years old, and she ended up on kill list for participating in a Victory Day parade. Like what? And some of them ended up there because they went on vacation with their parents to Crimea, that part of Russia currently that Ukraine is trying to get so hard. So whoever would go on vacation, to Crimea may end up there. And like, I'm on that list too, and I got there. Like, I have many charges that they accused me of, but one of the charges that just kind of cuts my ear all the time I hear those words is humanitarian aggression. How is it even possible, you would think,
That's
right?
a weird phrase. I
I
am
will tell
so
you how
sorry. Yeah,
people
that's
from people from Donbas asked me to send them my book, and I sent a box of books to them to read, where I tell my story, because they see a lot in common in a way, because in partly I was hostaged, I went also through the gun wound, and it's a lot that people from Donbas are going through. A lot of their relatives are hostage, many of them been wounded, and they won't, it's interesting how that works, and how it clicks in their mind that we have similar life stories, and how we went through this. They said it inspires them. The book went to the library, to the hospitals, and to the military troops, because when they have a break they can read a little bit and get away. And I was accused of the humanitarian aggression.
unbelievable.
Yeah.
So, Igor, and very famous people are on the website, I think probably to get attention, like Roger Waters, the musician who's very outspoken about freeing
Yeah.
Julian Assange. Igor Lopotonik, Oliver Stone. Igor is a producer director, works with Oliver Stone as well, the famous award-winning director. And there's so many. I am so sorry that you have to live under that kind of fear, like to not be able to travel to those places to do your humanitarian work without that fear of, being targeted.
I
I know
do actually. I just came back. I just came
how
back 2 weeks ago from Donbas. I
how did
still
it go?
travel.
How
I
did it go?
still travel. It went perfect, actually. Me and Faina were awarded. We got the state award for the having caring hearts, and no matter what, living under all this pressure and threats and danger, we still do our work. We still protect children of Donbass. Me and Faina, we did first children Congress. It was like a video bridge in between children from Lugansk and St. Petersburg, and it was so nice. All that support was given. I remember one boy, he was 6-year-old from St. Petersburg, and he was interviewed. His grandmother was there, so he was interviewed, and the journalist asked him, like, so what do you want to say to the children from Donbass? And he said, don't be afraid, we are together. And it was so cute, you know. They have so much like compassion and support and all that. So right now I'm planning, not right now, but in 2023 after the holidays, God willing, I will do the international congress, and I would want to introduce to each other children from Syria, from Afghanistan, from Iraq, who's been invaded and bombed by NATO countries, who went through something similar that Donbass children are going through right now, so they can share their experience and help each other. It's so important for them to feel that they are not alone, that people care, because for 8 years the whole world was silent.
Very silent. Yeah, that's a kind of a I mean, I can't even imagine. That's kind of a gaslighting is the term that's used in the US based on a yeah, well, you're familiar with it. I mean, it's just,
I've been to American prison. That's what they do in there as well.
Yeah, they
gaslighting, experiments, Asha, and all kinds of stuff. It's bizarre. United States is like has like all these two sides of the same medal, you know, the beautiful world and the completely dark world, and the same as people, beautiful people and completely dark.
I'm so sorry that happened, but I'm also so happy that you're bringing peace and joy to children and comfort and compassion, because that they need to see that in order to grow up and be that, right? Like if they're constantly seeing violence and hate and bigotry and you know, that's just, it creates the future of the world in a dark place, right? So you're bringing light where there's darkness, and
thank you.
Yeah, so thank you for doing that. As far as what's the next step that can be taken to get this website taken down? Faina already did a video to the UN, and that's what got her on the list. But like, where can we go to say stop it? Like internationally, bridging our communities, bridging our will to make this website be taken down, because it was deemed a terrorist site by Western countries a few years ago. So suddenly it's now being used. And I had mentioned earlier, you know, Wyatt Reade, the journalist who I had on the show very soon after he was almost killed. He was on that list. And then as soon as he arrived, he did something with his phone and it gave his location. And an hour later, his hotel was bombed. He was almost killed. He was a minute away. Ava Bartlett almost killed. I mean, and then an RT journalist was almost killed, and his cameraman. I mean, it just keeps happening, and we need the Western countries to listen and take down that website. So what can we do?
Well, we took all possible measures. So, of course, right now it's a work of all of us to not let the subject go away as it used to before, because so many times the subject was raised, but by a single person, and single voice in a desert cannot be heard. But we were able, the Foundation to Battle Injustice that I'm head of, we were able to gather different international journalists together. We did the press conference, and now all over the world people are talking about kill list, and we should not let our voices to be silent again. What we did, we collected 2 reports, one report on children and one report on journalists, because there were like over 340 journalists on kill list, 12 who were murdered. One of them is my friend, like-minded person, Daria Dugina, who was blown up in her car. And by the way, December 15th is her birthday. She would be 30. I'm preparing a huge event for her. I'm trying to do an award in her name, and on a yearly basis, once a year on her birthday, 2 people will be getting that award for for their input in traditional values and face to Russia. And anyhow, we collected those reports and we passed it to Dmitry Polyansky that you mentioned at the beginning of the show, and he submitted it to the UN. And at first, kill list was just condemned and nothing happened. So for all these months, we've been working on trying to get UNICEF, the Children Foundation, on the base of the UN to get any reaction from them. Faina came to Moscow. We tried to arrange with Dmitry Polyansky meeting with representatives of UNICEF and Faina, and they refused to meet, and they did not meet. And it's already a second time. Like at first,
UNICEF
they wanted
refused to meet with Faina.
They didn't respond. Like they ignored completely. First time, like a year ago, they wanted to meet with her, and 2 days before the meeting, they canceled the meeting. This year, they did not meet at all. And then finally, this week, we got first response from UNICEF, the public response, that they condemn, of course, and it should not be working. They made the opinion. But to me, it's a half measure. Yeah. They have to demand. It's in their power.
Now,
absolutely.
What about approaching a celebrity because you know how they use the celebrities to, I mean, they're using a lot of them to go for prop up the Kiev regime, and those are neo-Nazis, some of them. Like, so why can't there be a celebrity to deal with protecting children? And
that's what we've been thinking about.
Yeah, I mean,
we wrote the hosting provider of this company, of the kill list, is company located in California called Cloudflare. Not long ago, Cloudflare had a scandal over similar website that was posting personal information of transgenders. Yes. And when that happened, Cloudflare shut down that website. So we wrote a letter, but Cloudflare ignored it. And in this case, and I understand, like going and pressing charges in the United States, maybe for some people painful in a way or in a financial way. But I think the good way if the celebrity will approach Cloudflare by telling them like, hey, look, my personal information is here. So I'm telling you, please cancel the service. So that way I will not press charges. Something like that. Like try to fix it in a peaceful level. But I'm hoping that through you, we will be able together to call on some celebrities who maybe one single person, or better if people would gather and we finally will get this work done, because it's not only immoral, it's truly criminal, because without your allowance, your personal information cannot be published nowhere. It's illegal on every national and international law. People are getting murdered. There are bids on that website. Oh, you will get $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 for murdering this or that person. How crazy this is.
Wow. I can't believe it. Yeah, that's just awful.